morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Building the Spiritual Body. Hope everyone is doing well today. If you don't know, let me introduce myself. My name is Lady Grace Thomas, and I am here on my Soul Sisters 10X platform where we come on every Monday through Friday at 6 a.m., encouraging each one of us to do our due diligence in building our spiritual body. What shall I render unto God for all his mercies, for all his benefits, for all his blessings, for saving a wretch undone like myself? What can I give? I have nothing in my possession, but all he asks for is Romans 12:1, to present your body a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God. It doesn't cost money. It doesn't cost gold. It doesn't cost your firstborn. No, all you have to do is work on daily presenting your body, dying daily, presenting your body a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable as is your reasonable service. And so this is why we come on every morning, weekday morning at 6 a.m., encouraging, inspiring each other. Let's get out there and get this thing done. Amen. Let's get it done. Good morning,
Amen.
Sister Larita, Sister Vanessa. Hello.
Yes.
Hello. We're not going to do the scripture readings today, obviously, because I have a guest on. Hey, Sister Sandra, I have a guest on, Evangelist Fossey Berry. She's not new to the platform. You've heard her, you heard her minister, and you heard her encourage. And so today she's going to present. She's going to start coming on Soul Sisters 10X, similar to Sister Larita, Sister Jackie, and so forth. Inspiring, and she's going to let us know what her focus is. And I'm going to turn it over to, hello, Sister Sheila. How you doing? Sister Tanisha. I'm going to turn it over to Evangelist Flossie. What's up today? What you going to be doing?
How are you? God bless and God
Hold
bless.
it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. I forgot to even say, she's launching this on her birthday. She's launching it on her birthday. So please give her a shout out. Give her a happy birthday, 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 birthday. Okay, now you can go.
Thank you. I love it. Thank you for the intro. Yes, today is my birthday, and as Lady Grace said, I am launching this on my birthday. First, I just want to say, praise God, praise the Lord for all you beautiful, wonderful ladies, friends, family that's on today. I love you guys, and I'm just so blessed and honored to be here today. Today, as Lady Grace says, I'm launching. It's a ministry, or shall I say organization that has something that's been in me for a while. I had conversation. Thank you Felicia, thank you Sandra, thank you Sheila. I appreciate all of you guys. It's something that had been in my heart and my spirit for a while, and you know how sometimes we put things on the shelf and we say I'll get back to it, we take our time, or it's not. Lady Grace already know, if it's not like I really want it, sometimes I'm that person. It'll drag on until I get it like I want it, And so I just said, you know what? It's okay. This is also Women's History Month, Lady Grace. And so also because of that, I said, we got to get this out here before Women's History Month leave. And so the name of the organization and the name of this program is called Facets of a Woman. And Facets of a Woman for me is faces, the many faces of a woman. And I'll give you a little bit of the background, and then I'll basically tell you what I'm believing God for us to do through this. It's an organization that seeks to unearth the hidden gems within us that some may consider diamonds in the rough. Many women have or the inability to find space to unveil their authentic self, and the lack of exposure to resources that would enable them to make better life choices. And so because, a lot of times we don't have the ability to find ourselves in places and spaces that we might need to be our authentic self, or to be that diamond in the rough and allow those giftings and things to come out. I desired to put together, like I said, this particular organization, so that we as women can come together, first seeing it from a standpoint of women in leadership and exposing you to that and what they've done and their experiences and how they've lived life and the ups and downs that they've experienced, and how they've gotten through, and bridging the gap between that and those of the youth of today, the millennials and the Gen Zs, and how some things are just not the same, but yet some things are pretty much the same. And how can I navigate in this life, as things are changing and transitioning, and being able to get the tools to be able to do that. And not only the tools, but the resources, because sometimes we might have the ability, but not the resources. And so I want to be able to bridge it to where we're getting information and resources as how we can be that powerful individual that God has created us to be. Facets of a Woman was created to form a community that offers a place for women to share their powerful stories while bridging the gap and providing, like I said, tools to build, rebuild, and reinvent themselves in various areas like their career, their business, finances, ministry, family, health, education, or social and mental well-being. So basically, that's what we're doing, and that's what we're looking to do. Bridging, like I said, with women in leadership, telling their stories, bridging that gap between the millennials and the Gen Zs, and helping them continue to be able to tell their stories, but giving them foundations and the right tools to be able to do it.
Awesome, awesome. I mean, sounds like me. That's what the platform is for, to support women in ministry. And I believe a large part of our education is learning from others, so I don't have to walk down those roads. I don't have to those roads of mistakes, that if I can glean information from those that went on before me of the what's and the whys and the hows, then I can strategically design a better life, a better outcome for myself. So that's awesome.
Definitely, definitely. And like I said, sometimes it's just also the know-how. So, like you said, I can giving you the example, but not just giving you the example, but sometimes it's even the resources that's missing in the piece of the
Yeah, yeah,
puzzle.
yeah, yeah.
And so that's important to me. What's important to me is, okay, how do I get over this hump? I'm here. What can I do?
Mhm.
And for us to be able to infuse you and be able to give you the resources to be able to get over that hump, to be successful in whatever area that is that you deem to be successful in. So
Mhm.
yeah, thanking God for that. Like I said, it's been a long time coming. I had this conversation a long time ago with Lady Grace, and here I am. And my hope is to just really encourage and uplift those that have an ear, like the word of God says, he that have an ear, that let him hear what the Spirit is saying. And so hopefully we'll have some great information to be able to bring to you. So today, Lady Grace is my first, I thought it not robbery. For those of you that don't know, she and I are cousins. And we are like freaking frack. And we've been like freaking frack for all our lives. I mean, from the days of me living in Albany, for her at the standpoint of time when she moved to New York, and we just have such a bond. And we may not be in a place sometimes where you might be busy, your schedule's busy, you don't always talk, but we always fall in sync. And I thank God for her. And I thought it not robbery to have her as my first guest. Now with her, it's going to be a two-part. I know it is. So just prepare. This is part one. But Lady Grace, as you sit here in our presence,
She's so crazy.
I want you to say, like in a few words, who is Lady Grace, and was she a diamond in the rough?
Okay, gosh, this is, yeah, you gotta have a part two, because that's I think that the uniqueness of interviews is knowing how to get to the point. And
Yes,
that's just an open end question.
like I
Um,
said, in a few words.
yeah, yeah. I definitely was a diamond in the rough. I definitely was a diamond in the rough. In so many different ways. I don't know how to even make it into a sentence, but like many people, and many people that I talk to, many people that I've had on, even those that are watching now and commenting in the comments, this is this is why, I even created the platform Soul Sisters, because, in going out and meeting and greeting other sisters, we all had the same similarities of becoming, let me even say, like even Michelle Obama, right? When she made that book, Becoming, I was just floored because years ago, before I even knew who Obama was, I said, you know what? I'm going to write a book and it was going to be becoming, becoming Grace, right? But I was going to call it Becoming Jane for other reasons, but becoming. And so even with that connection, it let us know that we, especially as Black women, let me say that, especially as Black women, haven't had the support or encouragement, even to know that better was available to us, and that uh, we don't have to be or stay in a position where we were born into. You know what I'm saying? And so going through that process and understanding that, I understand that from then until now, from birth until now, from teenager, and all those things like that, I realized that there was more for me. Okay. And then as I understood the more, okay, then I became, and I'm sure everybody that's watching, so I know they can identify with this, especially being an African American woman, that life was a process. Life was a process. And, the journey, and I'm still on my journey, the journey has produced results that I'm definitely looking better than I did in the past.
So
So,
wait.
the diamond in the rough, you're saying a diamond in the rough, so it's seeing beyond the now, and, developing and understanding, that you're better than, and we're still working on it. We're still working on it.
So you would you say that that diamond is shining, like shine bright like a diamond? You think that it's kind of, the diamond is more shiny now than
It's definitely, it wasn't even a diamond back then. It was a diamond. It was
you didn't
in a
know
rough.
it was in the
But
rough, exactly.
and the thing is, I hate to say, that I'm shining. However, we're still in a process, right? Because a diamond, cut clarity and what is it? Cut clarity. What is the receives? Cut clarity and something else, right? So it's you can still keep clipping away at it for it to even become, when do you say enough is enough? And I think even right now in the process, God is still cutting some things away that I might still fulfill the destiny that He has for me.
Amen. And again, there lies facets in the rough, like you said, the cuts, you know, the faces. There's so many faces that make up who you are, the processes that you go through. So I appreciate that answer. And so as you talked about that, what was your dream when you were growing up? What would you say was your
Huh?
dream? What was your dream when you were
Okay, again, not an easy story, but I really had no dreams. Number one, we weren't taught to dream, right? We weren't.
wait. What are you saying? You're
We
saying that we,
we,
these women in leadership, we were not taught to dream?
we
Do
weren't taught
tell.
to dream. I mean, we all had the same background. Again, I'm telling the story of all of us, right? Being born, we just existed for the most part. You existed, right? From day to day, you existed, and
Yes.
so with that highlight, I guess really, because what I don't know what generation we are, what we baby boomers,
Yes.
and so we from generation where the expectations were, one, to marry, and two, our ideas, our minds, our thoughts once we're married would not be our own, but those of our husband, those of our spouse. So why at that time would they seed into us identity of personality of who we are if our main life goal is to take on the identity and personality of the person that we'd eventually marry? So that's one, right? And then, so with that, whatever dreams that they instilled in us, whatever identity and expectations that was instilled into us, was those that would make that home and that position as wife fulfilling to whoever the man would be, not to us. So even if we were taught to cook and clean, it wasn't for the benefit of our personal prosperity, or for us to be the best cook or the best cleaner to create a space for us to have value in doing those jobs, but the
Yes.
value in doing them was the benefit for someone else. So really, when I
Yes.
say that, so how can I even get to a perspective to understand or enjoy the cooking, enjoy the cleaning or the laundry or whatever, when it's not really solely for my benefit, but to benefit somebody else.
It's funny that you say that, and I'm glad that you brought that out again. Um, Hence why part of the show was created too, is so that people can understand the difference. Sometimes certain things we do, certain things we say, how we react, how we might even treat people is based on our upbringing. And for those of us that may have children, sometimes they may look at you a particular way or may not understand why you might groom them a particular way, because it's based on your background and where you come from and how you were taught and what was taught to you, and you tend to funnel that into that next generation. And so I think that if you had an understanding, it would, like I said, it would help bridge the gap, or between the misunderstandings that we may have, as for those that are being groomed and for those that have already been groomed, because I now understand why you might do a certain thing or why you might react a particular way. Before I was like, oh, she's crazy. Why do they allow this to happen? Why do they let men, because that's a whole not, it's not another conversation. It's a conversation I kind of want to bring in, but I think there's going to be part two. So hold that thought. So, but again, if I understand why you do something, it helps me to, it kind of helps the conversation and the communication better. Versus if I look at you like, what are you talking about? Where are you coming from? And that's what tends to happen. There's a disconnect.
Yeah.
And I believe through the natural and the spiritual that we can actually be able to make that connection and bridge that gap. And a lot of times it's through communication, like what we're doing now, and being able to understand my life story and your life story, from whence you come and how I got to where I am now, and then understand the similarities. Because there are similarities, regardless of what we might think or say, right? There are similarities. But I love the fact that you said, dream what? Because you couldn't say that to someone today, because that's all they do.
Yeah, everybody dreaming. Everything is a dream. Everything. They come out the box. Let's dream, And so, I wish I had that experience. I think if I was, if at birth my dreams, or if I knew I could have a dream, and then if I could cultivate myself at that young age, I could imagine where I would be right now. I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine the prosperity, the wealth, the position that I would be in if I came out of the box understanding that dream in the sky was the limit, the success that one would have.
I love that you said that. And so sometimes our limitations also limits our success. It doesn't mean that we're not successful, but like you said, to know that there's no limits, and there never was. It's just what was taught to us and what we were made to feel and think. So in all this, what would you say? And I know you had probably a lot. What is your favorite childhood memory?
Oh gosh. Well, I'm not being funny here. I'm not. Please, no, this is not scripted. It's not scripted. Let me just say it's not scripted. Okay. My favorite childhood memories is spending time with you.
Really? Oh,
I mean,
I'm about to
I'm not, like I said,
cry.
guys, it's not scripted. Okay. I
Oh
was the only
my
girl of seven
God.
brothers. Okay. My brothers, weren't like, let's us have a family loving with our sisters. It wasn't like that. They wanted to do their own thing. They treated me like I was a girl because I was a girl. And I
Yes.
was not supposed to be a part in their sports, in their anything they did. And so I really was lonely as a child. I had seven brothers. I was lonely. And so the highlight of my life is when I got to go on First Street and I got to hang out with you and play Barbies and dress
Yes.
up and play with Jackie and them that was downstairs, and all the
Yes.
fun things you guys used to do. You guys had imagination. You guys had circuses and dress up, and y'all played church outside, and we did deliver newspapers and
Yes.
Avon. That
Yes.
was the highlight of my a highlight of my youth when I was over there and was able to do
Wow.
like creative things that you guys did.
Wow. I'm humbled, and I'm honored. I don't know what to say, actually, to be honest, because I wasn't expecting that either. And she's right. This is not scripted for real.
Mhm.
Uh, but we did so many things, Lady Grace. You're right. Thinking back, gosh, and and you saying that, you mentioning the imagination, and how the world is today, and how the emphasis is on technology. Nothing wrong with it, because we do evolve. But looking at where the youth are now, and what the dependency is, and then what we did with little, and the imaginations and things that we created from, I guess you would say, like nothing, and out of it was spin some, a circus, or
And the difference is, and people have talent now, but different is
yes,
we had talent and we did. Imagine if somebody seen our talent and said, "Go further," pushed us further, encouraged us
yes,
further. I mean, you had singing. Your brother played the piano. We used to make our own songs. We used to. I mean,
yes,
and I'm telling, we held notes. You guys held us accountable to soprano, alto. Everything. We were organized. But even in that, we were doing it in our own energy, where
yes,
really, and no adults really around us empowered us
yes,
to
yes.
say, listen, you have something here. You need to go further with this. Listen, your imagination. Listen, you can do this. We were just doing it because we enjoyed it. We seen the foundations, maybe other places, and just put it together for ourselves. But imagine if we would have had the support to understand that this is something that could really propel us to go further.
Wow. And again, I'm so glad you said that. Imagine if we would have had the support of someone telling us, hey, to propel us to go forward. And again, part of this is, there is someone that, either maybe listening, or at some point may listen, to what we have to say. And I want to be able to know that there's something that we're leaving, a nugget or two or three, and informative information and resources, to let them know that with this ability that I do have, I now have the resources to be able to take it further. I can go further. Yes, I can dream, and I can make this thing greater, bigger, than my mother or my friend or those behind me, because I am not limited, by my resources. And so again, like I said, this is part of the platform. This is what I want to make sure that I consistently, get out there, because people, even today, are feeling limited. Even today, people are at a place of, what do I do next? What's next for me? How did you get, like, let's just talk about that real quick, your education.
Oh yeah. Well, still, again, we talk about diamond in the
Yes.
rough.
Yes.
I said my testimony many, many times before. Again, nothing was seeded into me about education. Education, I was the expectation. And I don't. I guess many of us, expectations. Again, I'm really, because I'm an African American woman, so I speak to the African American, and so prominently. But I'm saying, I'm sure everybody can glean something. In our households, many of us was just a high school diploma was good enough. I think you grew up as an exception because you had a idea that you wanted to go to college,
Yes.
from younger. But in my household, my mother literally told me a high school diploma was enough, and because really of that ceiling that was put on my mind that this is enough, I never I never explored or really even challenged myself in school to do better, because what was there after this? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
If
yes, I
I
do.
knew if I knew that there was something beyond the ceiling that was placed on me, then I would have, my perspective of my education would have been different.
Mhm.
Whereas you, and I don't know what your story is to get you there, but as a you understood that there was something higher than the general high school diploma. And so
Yes.
therefore you put more effort into your education and
Mhm.
your grades, because you understood I need to go to another level.
Right.
But for many of us, um you know, and I don't know how people do it, but from birth, a lot of people nowadays, let's take Asians families per se, they start grooming their children in the womb for
Yes.
greatness. They start
Yes.
speaking to the seed, they start speaking to the
Yes.
womb, and then speaking to the womb when they're birth. They position them in a place of leadership. They don't tell them no, they don't say you can't. They position their mind as an opening so they can achieve. You see what I'm saying? So therefore everything they
Yes.
do in life is a building block to their success. And so again, the African American community, coming out of a slavery, post slavery, with always told, because I'm not really blaming my parents, always told that they're nothing, they're never going to be anything, that you're dumb, you're stupid, you're only going to be a washwoman, so and so, so. And so, how can you seed into the future when
Yes.
all you know in your psyche is limited, right?
Right.
And so, because of that, many of us, some of us, not all of us, but many of us grew up with that psyche of no expectations in self. So, therefore, I really didn't do good, not because I didn't have the skills necessary or the cognitive ability to do it, to articulate and things, but because I never seen anything greater than this, then I didn't put much into it. It wasn't until, later on, like I said, getting married and stuff, that, people, my husband in particular, said, you have potential. And I was like, no, I even told him, no, I don't have potential.
Wow.
But he wasn't, I realized, I had a flashback the other week that he wasn't the only person that told me I have potential, but that person I didn't believe either, but it was another guy, even in high school, that told me, you're better than this, you can do more than this. And because when you're limited all your life, when somebody say that you're the one, you're the light, you deny it, because you don't see yourself, kind of, I guess, in their perspective, in their lights.
Wow, seeing yourself from their perspectives. I see that Larita said that her dad was the biggest supporter for her to go to college. And he did not want her to work at any convenience store. It said it wasn't safe, that she's going to college. So he pushed her. God bless you for that. She said, even my grandmother encouraged me to go to college as well. And you definitely need that support. For me, the story is not about me today, but for me, for me quickly, for those of you that may not know, I don't say this a lot because sometimes people, whatever. My dad only had a sixth grade education, and my father was the fuel. Not my mother was too, but my father was the fuel. It was his desire that we all got an education, that we furthered our education. The only thing was, again, how you grew up, the foundation. The initial thing was, if you're going to go to college, you have to go to college within the vicinity, and you can't stay on campus. So, there still was limitation, you know, but it was like, okay, I see that, this is what you want to do, but these are the limitations for you doing it. And so, again, education was fueled in my family. And like I said, this is not my story, so I'm not going to go into it yet. But that's, for me, that's what actually, happened. And that's how I was able to migrate. But I had the dream. I
Right.
wanted, it was like you said, my eyes were set and my eyes was focused. And I think that that's something that, we need to make sure that we, from whether it's our children, it's from people that are around us, people we mentor, focus, laser focus on that which, God has put in you and put inside of you, and do not deter. See, sometimes we get deter and we go a whole different way, but do not deter. And that was the thing with me, Lady Grace. I was laser focused in that area. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to accomplish. And He gave me the opportunity to be able to do that. But I thank God for something that you also said was, and again, like I said, in part two, we'll discuss a little bit more of this, but your husband, we won't go into it today, but your husband was the key in saying, you got this. The potential is in you. And you know what that's about? It's about seeing something in you. He saw in you what you didn't see in yourself. He saw the diamond, but you didn't see that. And I love how God helps sometimes complete or orchestrate your story even further by putting you in the hands of the right person. And so he put you in the hands of the right person, Bishop Thomas, and again, that part of the story, I definitely want us to get into that part two. But it's a great and mighty story. So then what fueled you then? What fueled you to be who and where you are today? What fueled you?
I mean, you said you don't want to get into it, but I mean, it really took really my husband saying, and again, this is why you have to go back to, and everybody have a different story. Because your
Yes.
father had a sixth grade education, he wanted to ensure that his family got an education because he understood what he missed. There's always the
Yes.
flip side. And so my mother had a fourth grade education. That's as far as she went. But in her mind, that she still, my mother still bought a house, bought a car, money, excellent credit. She thought in her mind that if I had a fourth grade education and this is what I achieved, that a high school education, should be good enough, right? So it wasn't that she was holding me down, is that, her vision was higher than herself, meaning fourth grade, but but it still was limited. So
Yes.
because each of us have different experiences, we can only seed into others our limitations. And so
Yes.
that's why I stand firm on, scripture based. When Jesus told Peter, he said, the enemy desires to sift you, but when thou art converted, strengthen thy brother. And
Yes.
so I stand on that. And so each one of us, when we come into the knowledge of the truth, when we come into, aha moment, and this is what is needed, then I think it's a must, not a suggestion. You're obligated to go strengthen your brother. You're obligated to go tell somebody the road is out down there. This is the better path. That path is rocky. Don't go there. Go this way. You're obligated to strengthen your brother because we are our brother's keeper. And so I want every woman, every sister, across, cultures, anyone, I want them to know, that potential is in you. If life is in you, potential is in you, right? If life is in you, potential is in you. Tap into your potential,
Yes.
tap in. Take the wall, ceiling down the wall, open your eyes and see who you are. Look in the mirror, see who you are in every possibility, that the sky is the limit. And then once you do that, where is your niche in it? Now, your niche might be cleaning, it might be cooking, it might be sewing. Those are great things, and this world needs each one of them.
Yes.
But whatever your niche is, whatever your love is, take it to the max. Don't limit it, don't limit it. And so again, as doors opened for me, mentally, I walked into them cautiously, but then once I opened the door, I'm an all out person. So I go all out. And so, my husband was the first one that told me that, education was a possibility for me and I had the brains to do it. I told him he was joking, he just didn't know. What I opened the door, he said
Oh my.
open it, and I said, okay, we'll try this out. And next thing you know, I was hooked. As you know, I was hooked, line, and
Yes.
sinker, and it was a new world, and I seen everything in the world. And so I was like a kid in the candy store. I want two of those, one of those, five
Yes. Yes.
of
Yes.
those.
I love it, and like I said, I definitely want to share that side and that part, like in the part two. So I want you to get a little bit more in depth with that. Having somebody believe in you, having someone see your potential. And the beauty of it is God placing that person in your life to help you tap into what's already inside. Like we said, the diamond that's in the rough. When they take diamonds out, what are they taking out? They're taking out of dirt, and being able to dust and clean until it begins to shine, and you see the very facets, the many faces, that God, I believe, has given us. We're not one dimensional. We're not one dimensional. Like a diamond is not one dimensional. And so I love that. And you definitely have a story to tell, one that needs to be heard, and one that, like I said, once it's heard, for people to understand, hey, if she did it, because everybody has some form of a struggle or inability that they feel like they can't handle, they can't do, right? And so for them to see that if you did it with this, I can do it with that. And we like again, speaking to, for me, like you said, first to my sisters, but then to all the sisters as women, understanding that you have the potential and the ability that's in you, and you just have to allow it to manifest and come forth. And speaking of that, and just speaking about the abilities, can you give me 3 words that best describe who you are?
Oh, 3 words. Oh, wow. Creative,
Mm-hmm.
driven,
Mm-hmm.
hungry.
Creative,
And that's
driven.
not necessarily for natural food, but I'm usually hungry anyway. But hungry for life.
I love it. And so, again, hunger. And I believe that hunger is a thing that has fed you and that has motivated you. And it was something I was going to um, ask, and it kind of had to do with what you just said with the creative side. And I'm not sure if I can ask it in a question. I had the question; it's not there in front of me. But would you say your creative ability is a thing that has latched you or moved you forward in various areas of life, having your creative ability?
Okay, notice I said creative first because I am an artist. This is how I identify myself,
Yes.
as an artist. Everything else is built off of that, but I'm an artist. I remember, if I could say this real short, I remember, as a child, all my brothers doing what they own the thing. I remember, I'm gonna say this, that I sat down on the floor in the corner and was crying, right? I don't know, maybe I was in 5th grade or something, and I just said, I need to do something. I need to do something. I mean, all in my body, my spirit. I was crying. We live next door to the church. I was crying. I needed to do something. People couldn't understand. Some people don't want to do anything. It wasn't just like I wanted. I needed to do something.
Yes.
And then, and I believe that God heard that cry from 5th grade. I
Yes.
do believe it. I do believe it. And so, if I could just tell you a little bit. And so, this is about seeding into someone. So, I had no expectations. I had no idea, but I had a need. I had a desire, right? And so I remember everything that happened at the church. I live next door to the church. Missionary had sewing night. I was over there with the missionaries. The only person over there with the missionary sewing. I had a need. This missionary, they used to do crocheting. I was over there crocheting. I had a need. So Mother Birthday, she took grapes in my backyard and she made grape jelly. I was there. I had a need. I needed to do something.
Yes.
I wasn't an idle person. It's kind of painful for me to sit still, to tell you the truth. It's
Yes.
painful.
Yes.
If you notice the vacations that I go to, I don't go
Yes.
to like Hawaii, Aruba, Florida, lay on the beach, because that's laying, that's sitting. I have a need. I need to move. I need to go. The trips that I go on, I'm moving. I'm going from here. I go to three countries in 2 weeks. Why? Because I have a need. It's always been a need.
Yes.
I remember, again, next door to the church built a bakery. Remember they built the bakery?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so I watched them build that bakery outside of my window. And so one day, Bishop left and everybody left. I went down outside the house and I took all of their pieces, their nails, their hammers, their wood, and I built me a clubhouse in one night, mimicking how they built the foundation of the bakery. I put in the floor, I put in the beams, I was building a wall. Just from watching them in the instant, I built me a house, Naturally, the
Yes.
bishop laughed and said I had to take it down, it was in the church parking lot. But I just want to see, I was creative from birth. I had a need from birth. I didn't know how to, I didn't know how to express it. I didn't know where to express it. I didn't know that desire could propel me into my destiny. I didn't understand it because nobody was there to see it. And if they seen it, they didn't highlight it to a point to let me know, build on this. A lot of people want to know, what should I do in life? What should I, where's your passion? What makes you
Yes.
happy? And working with my hands and doing things make me happy. We went to junior high, wood shop, car, metal, everything
Yes.
I excelled in. English, science, nothing, but I wanted to do something. And so if I had a
Yes.
flashback again, not saying everybody have the same passion, but that was right there my ability. I think if somebody would have seeded into me then and let me highlight it, I probably would have been, architect, GM, general
Yes.
manager,
Yes.
construction. And you
Yeah.
see women now today doing it, and they're
Yeah.
my age and they're their own general manager, constructor, but somebody had to seed into them, letting them know that passion that you had, build on it. Don't think because I'm a woman. That's what I thought. I can't do it because no women are out here doing it, especially no black women were out there doing it,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so therefore I had to quench that desire, of creativity. I had to quench it, and I had to basically fly with the ducks instead of the eagles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody around me, they were doing this, so I had to do what they do because even I remember in high school, Flossie, like I used to hear the thing going, the whatchamacallit team is going to Switzerland. So the debate team, they're going to Paris. I'm like, wow, Paris, wow. But if I looked around me, everybody was pigeons, everybody was ducks. And
Yeah.
so how can I say I want to go with those eagles when I was living in the pond in the backyard? You know what I'm saying? And so so
Oh God.
catch up to 2020 wherever we're at, you know and so once the ceiling glass was broken off, and this is what education did. This is what education did for me. It wasn't about education itself. Education took the ceiling down and opened my eyes to let me know that I had, number one, I had potential, and everything is open for me. That whatever desire I had the possibility of having it. And once that ceiling kind of was broken and that veil came open of understanding, then that's where you see me at now. That's why you see me grabbing, going, and doing. Why are you doing so much in a short period of time? Why you're not just going to one country and staying there for 2 weeks and then coming back the next time? Because I don't have time. I'm catching up. I'm catching up. I'm catching up. Why did you get so many degrees, Grace? Because I'm catching up. I'm catching. You know the song we sing. I want it all back. I want it all back. Everything the
Yes.
enemy denied me. Everything the enemy held back. I walk
Wow.
through the door. I'm busting it open and I'm taking it all back.
I love that. I love that. And something that you said was key is how you view. I think, there are a lot of things that we teach in church. But if we really, and this is me, my if we really would have taught faith, faith like it, because it's really like a child's imagination. Like the sky is the limit, and how you, like you said, how you view things, and not looking at them from a natural eye, but more from a spiritual eye, because who your daddy is, right? Who your spiritual daddy is. And so for you, then there's no limit, there's no hold bar, nothing. All things are possible. I can do anything, everything is accessible to me. And I love the fact that you said how you view things. And I think a lot of times things are missed because of how we view things, where we think we are, how we grew up, our limitations, our limited resources, whatever it is. And so that person that could have been, like you said, an architect, building buildings, creating, I didn't think I can do that. I didn't know I could do that. My vision wasn't far enough to even make me believe that I can do that. And, and trust me, I know that's not what God had designed for us. So we put the limitations on ourselves based on our surroundings and what we see with the physical.
Well, I can say others put the limitation on us, and we
Yes.
accept it.
Yes.
We accept it.
We accept it. We
Mhm,
receive it.
mhm.
Exactly. And talking about travel, I wanted you to talk just about this a little bit. A birdie told me that you went to Africa recently. Can you just tell us a little bit about that trip and that journey, and what, if anything, did it how did it affect you, and maybe how did it give you a different view of your moving forward in life and embracing some things?
Yeah. We went to Uganda. It was like a missionary trip with Creative Sparks. And so it was just awesome. I really had no expectations. I knew, it was what we consider to identify as a third world country. We were going there to help out and seed into their lives. But it was just so much more than that. It's really even hard to put into words, articulate. The love that we felt, appreciative for just the little things in life, all that I gave, all that. And I thank my sisters that helped sponsor me and help seed into that ministry. I just want to say all my sisters that help make it happen, for me to be able to give more, and for Creative Sparks to do more. I just definitely, my sisters did help me out. And so, with that said, going over there and seeing, the life that they have and the joy that they have with little things in life, little things in life. And they're still going, they're still motivated, they're still doing, and then they're appreciative for the small things. And so, the love that I felt, it was just so amazing. But leaving there, my takeaway, that we are spoiled Americans, despite the poorest of the poor Americans over here is still living a good life comparative to some people in third world countries.
Wow.
Definitely.
Wow.
And so it gave me a perspective of, I don't need another purse. I really don't need another pair of shoes. I definitely don't need another pair of boots. Yeah, I don't need, we say we don't need anything. I don't need anything. I don't need anything. I'm just saying, my experience, I came back with, I understand I don't need, those are wants and desires. They're not needs.
Yes.
And then, even eating, we always talk about diet and stuff. We're excessive even in the food that we eat. We're excessive in, how we spend our money, and we just go to restaurant. I'm not saying that I'm coming back and I'm going to live in a box, because I don't live in a box.
Yes.
But I understand that, I don't have to be excessive about anything, that I should monitor my spending. I should monitor my eating. I should monitor my buying, and not just for my personal growth, in finances, my personal growth in health, but also that I can be in a position to help somebody else out.
Amen.
If what we spend on Dunkin' Donuts coffee in a month could support a family. You know what I'm saying?
Isn't that something?
And so if I can help somebody else, with my Dunkin' Donuts spending, and I don't buy Dunkin' Donuts anymore like I used to for sure, but I'm just giving an example.
Yeah.
Then I just feel this is me again. My mantra is, I'm here to help my brother out. When thou art converted, help thy brother. And so if I could, get in a position that I can help somebody else, I can't save the world, but can I save one person? Can I
Yeah.
save two people? Can I
Yes.
save maybe three? If I can
Yes.
lighten their load to get them to a position that they can help build themselves, and then they can go back and strengthen somebody else, then that's what I want to do. I want to strengthen. My whole platform is about strengthening my sisters, and if I can further strengthen a wider range and affect a wider community, then that's my joy. If I never have another pair of shoes or boots or whatever, that I can, help somebody else, that's what I want to do. I want to help somebody else.
Amen. And that's what we are commissioned to do. We are commissioned. A lot of times we do make it about us. And we have this selfish, we don't realize it's a selfish mentality, but we have a selfish
Well, this is
mentality.
what we're born to.
Yeah,
Just like
yeah,
we talked
exactly.
about before, how we were born with the cap on. You born from your experience, and so if this is all we
Yes.
know, I'm a product.
Product of
As
it.
much as at being African American, we try to separate ourselves from America. Guess what? I am an American. I've been born on these grounds. My mother was born. My
Yes.
great
Yes.
grandmother. I'm more American
Yes.
than a lot of these other Americans that claim it and show forth the flag. I am an American, so I'm not apologizing for that, and I'm not taking away who I am, and I live comfortable, because I'm an American, But I'm just saying I see a greater effect and a greater cause and other things that could be done. A
And I love that
consciousness.
because
Mhm.
I think that we have those moments. God allows us to have those opportunities to see that there's greater that can be done. There's greater that we can do as an individual. And like you said, I might not be able to save the world, but whoever I'm called to, and even in this platform again, like that's why I talk again, the resources, being able to, help someone else based on either my past, former, present experience, because we want the better. you know I may have had some pretty good experiences, but somebody else can have even greater experience because there were things that I missed, there are things that I didn't know about, there's things that I was not subject or privy to, but you can be privy to that. So it's really about, helping my sister, and of course helping my brother too, but helping my sister. How can I do that? What are the opportunities, what are the ways that I can do that? And for each and every one of it, it's going to look different. For each and every one of us, is going to look different, right? It only takes one, right, Sister Laretha, to make a difference for one. And that's what we got to remember, because sometimes we think of the grand picture.
Right,
you know
right,
it,
right,
it,
right.
it only takes one. Just imagine if each of us was dedicated to one person. Could you imagine? It's because we don't, in our finite minds, think that even that simple, because that's simple. We think of the grand big, because I can't do that, I won't do anything. Instead of, all it takes is one. And that's all it takes, Lady Grace. I'm glad you had that opportunity. I'm glad that it gave you a greater and broader perspective of life itself, like you said, and how we're living and the opportunities we're afforded versus others, and that we take for granted.
Mhm,
Because
mhm,
let's be honest, that we
mhm,
take for granted. I'm
mhm.
glad. I'm glad that you had that opportunity. Let me see. I want one more question because it looks like we're at kind of at the end there for today. Um, there was a question I had that I wanted to ask you. Give me a minute. I don't know if I want to end on this one, but I guess I will. I'll end on this one, and then of course, we got. Listen, y'all understand? I got a book. I got a book. But today, what would you tell your 18-year-old self today? What is it that you would tell your 18-year-old self today?
I would tell my 18-year-old self, one, to follow your heart, um, be led by the spirit.
Yes, yes,
Follow your heart. Be led by the spirit and appreciate who you are. Appreciate you who you are. Love you, because nobody gonna love you like you love yourself. Love you. I could go through a whole message right there. Is the
yeah,
reason why we can't succeed, because we don't know what love is. But if you understand what love is, you love yourself. Love yourself.
yeah.
Okay, love yourself. Be who you are, and basically, when I say be led by the spirit, stay with God, because he will not fail you. He will give you, excuse me, the desires of your heart. I believe it.
Amen. I think we're going to end on that. I think that's a great note to end on. I just want to say to you, thank you for giving me this privilege and this opportunity. Again, round two is coming. Again, we're talking about facets of a woman. I thank all of you that have come and joined. This is definitely going to be, we'll be on this platform, but we'll also be on YouTube, and we'll have further information for you in that regard. But there is a part two. There is a round two, everyone, because we want to delve a little bit deeper. And again, we also want to make sure, and she left us a nugget, but when we end this, that we're giving you some form of takeaway, as you leave this platform, because it's about building and rebuilding, right, and reinventing who we are. It doesn't matter where you started, but it's how you end up. So in other words, every day that you wake up, you got the chance and the ability to change your atmosphere, to change where you are, to move into a new setting, to be all that God has created you to be. And so that's one thing that we definitely want to leave with you. But we thank God for you, Lady Grace. Thank you for joining us and being our first person in the hot seat. And like I said, round two is coming. Thank you all for being a part. Love you all. God bless you all. May God bless you with all that you have to do today. Maybe He go before you and keep you and cover you and protect you, and that He might make you that greater than you thought. Give you greater expectations. Give you all that you desire. He gives you the desires of your heart. May God bless all of you. Thank you for
Be
joining.
blessed. Have a great day.
Yes.